Hey guys, Sajady here. Welcome to Moss on Sundays with Sajady. And today's is going to be a special day. It's Ask Moss. You can ask me anything that you need to or want to, but just keep it. We'll do the scans later on, guys. But these are, say, global questions on maybe what's happening. A lot of you are asking, what's happening with this war, how long it's going to last, and all that. So those types of questions, the universal or global type questions, and then we'll get to your personal questions at the end. Also, today's is special as well because we get to you get to see how people can transform almost instantly. And I know that sounds crazy. That kind of sounds, into the future or matrixy. Well, it's because it is. Real healing, which I'll do next week. How to self-heal, how to heal yourself. Really, it's not, I know it sounds crazy. I know you might think I'm a crazy man, especially if you are new. So those people who are new, welcome. You might go, well, hey, who the hell is this guy? Well, I found a technology or a method that can help you transform your life, any aspects of your life. And it's all got to do with space and time. So if you want to know who I am, I'm an expert in, say, bending space-time and how it affects human consciousness, human potential. So those who have already experienced it, again, comment in on how you've transformed. And you guys might have taken 20, 30, 40, maybe 50 years to transform your life, but maybe, an 18-day hyper meditation that you've done, or maybe even a couple 10-minute sessions that you've done have radically transformed your life more than, say, those 2-3 decades of your life. And again, comment in for those who transform these lives. And it's not like, yeah, I feel better. It's like, no, my whole life has changed. It's like getting a second chance on life. So that's what it's all about. Again, my experience comes from not studying history in the past, although I do that. It's not about that, because this is what's wrong with, say, science and anything that's happening today. We're always recycling. So what that means is, and this is part of some of you are asking, it's like, well, what's the bigger question? What's the bigger problem in this reality? Why aren't we going forward? Why are we repeating what we did 75 years ago, which was around Hitler's time? Again, it hasn't really changed, right? Why is that? Why do you keep recycling your life patterns and issues, right? Why does that happen over and over again? Why do we keep making the same mistakes in the human species, or in your, say, in your personal life? Why do you keep doing that? Well, here's some of the answers on the bigger global question is that, and it's becoming more and more prevalent. There aren't real scientists anymore. There aren't real leaders anymore. And that's really the problem. What leaders have done in the past, and you can go look at it, what leaders have done, current leaders have done, because they don't have the gumption, the strength, the confidence. What they do is, what they do is that they'll go back and study past leaders, which is fantastic. Okay. Unfortunately, the biggest key leader, the most successful leader that people study, all leaders, and you can verify this, you can validate this by, I think there's called the 48 Laws of Power. That's one of the hottest books of people who want to be in power. Again, and it's very controversial, but they've literally, the best leader out there that everybody copies is Hitler. It sounds crazy, but that's what they do. Unfortunately, that's what you get. And this is what's happening. That's why if you ever want to know base reason, the second base reason on why shit happens the way they are, why we're in the COVID pandemic, why we're in war again, why we're, devastated, although we've got the highest level of technology, because we're using leadership and people who are in the leadership position, we're using old habits, old power plays, and then old technology. Simple as that. Again, if you don't believe me, look what's happening today. So that's number one. The second aspect of it is science. Nowadays, science, you can't do anything new really if it's not proven. So, and you might think, well, that doesn't make sense. It's like you can't do anything new if it's not proven. Well, of course, because it's new. It makes me sound dumb, but that's what science says. And a lot of scientists out there, again, more and more scientists are too afraid to lack confidence or intelligence or anything like that. Again, I'm not knocking you all down if you are scientists, but awaken and try to experiment those things that aren't based on the past. You can learn from the past, just like you can learn from the past leaders, but access like what they did wrong, go into that black box, see where that experiment or see where that leader went wrong. And in your own life as well, see where you went wrong, face it, be truthful about it. Don't justify what happened. Just no excuses. Just look at what they did wrong, what you did wrong, what the experiment was wrong, and go, hey, how do I edit it, or how do I change it, or how do I make it better? You don't want to keep, just because it was successful in the past, that doesn't mean that it's going to be successful in the future. Although, again, most people do that. And then most people get, say, stuck in a time frame or a time loop, as I would call it. And hence, what do? We get our old situations or the old results back. And that's key. We're getting old results back. Bottom line, our technology has increased dramatically. Our level of wealth and comfort, luxuries have increased dramatically. But the bottom line result is that, again, we're sicker than ever before. We're more mentally unstable than ever before. If you look at pictures of people on the beach back in, even fucking in the 70s, or, especially in the 60s, compared to people on the beach today here in the US, over 70%. Obesity, if you include overweight, obesity and overweight, 70% of the population overweight. Why? We should have better foods, right? I was listening to the Joe Rogan podcast, really, really interesting podcast on on beef. I just want to pull that podcast up for you. Just give me 1 second. Anyway, it's the latest Joe Rogan podcast. I think it was Diane, something they were talking about, say, the aspects of beef. And they just literally uncover, all the, say, all the concepts or ideas or proof of what, say, people who are against meat, as far as like beef being the highest level of pollution, raping the resources and all that, all those things were not true. So here's the other aspect of, again, bad leadership is that, so now, well, yeah, I've got a couple things going. So, you've got people in science and then propaganda. What you've got is, there's so many different aspects or points of view that could be correct, that nobody knows what to do, or nobody knows, what to believe in anymore. Again, for example, the Joe Rogan podcast that I heard talked about beef and all the attributes of beef, and actually how it's more efficient and more green or friendlier to the environment than, say, some of the plasticized foods like Beyond Burger and some of those other foods that we eat, or even like going into veganism or vegetarianism, and how many illnesses there are, how much how many people have gone into vegetarian or veganism and then have gotten sick, some died, and then go back and come into a healthy state. But then the thing is, the flip side of that is true as well. So I'm not here for or against any idea or concept, or it's like, well, what do I believe in? I'm just here to help you think for yourself. And that's why I'm just going to give you, say, what I see, the logistics on what I see. And then, you think for yourself by proving it to yourself. That's one of the best ways. And that's why XI has been so successful over the past decade, by the way. It's bottom line truth. You might not understand how it all works, but you don't need to. All you have to go is through the process and, again, see if it works for you. Okay. All right. So again, today's world, why we are where we are, is one, bad leadership, bad, say, science. Okay. It's all paid and bought for. And then three, you just don't know what to or who to believe in anymore, because there's so many, say, conflicting evidence. And I'm not saying one side is true or one side is wrong, but, where do you go from that? How do you make a decision when, half the country is going, hey, the jab is good, the other half it's not good. There's science, and both people use science. Eating meat or not, there's science. Both people say there's science. So it was like, where do you go? Again, start to go inwards. And then that's where you start to understand who you really are, and what's good for you, what's beneficial for you, not what happened to so-and-so. Part of that too is that, the success industry. It's over $1 billion market. And I can guarantee that most of those individuals that have books out there and so on like that, they basically are telling you how they became successful. And it might have worked for them, but it might not work for you, because there are a ton of variables that are very different than your life compared to their life. Got it? Although the logistics, once we figure all those variables out, that's what XI does, would be the same, right? Like, say, hard work, being meticulous, and so on and so on and so on. Success does leave clues, but if you haven't been successful, there's probably underlying value structures in you. Or if you've been ill, there's underlying value structures in you that need to get removed. And this is what this show is all about, getting to the core level issue on why we have issues. So this one, can you practically share things that will allow us not to get sucked basically into the control mastermind? Absolutely. So the key is that, and you don't want to go too deep into the science behind this, but whenever you're learning something, and you can apply this to anything, by the way, whenever you're learning something, your body or the way your brain works, okay, and no, there's not a lot of science, because this field that I do, XI, exponential intelligence, or being exponentially intelligent, is so new. Okay, but we're gaining more and more evidence, so we can have science in the future. So let's take a deep breath in, and I'll start to say, run some frequencies for you that you understand the concepts even more. Okay, especially for those who are, say, sensitive to frequencies. Again, a breath in. Nice strong breath in. Notice your spine, notice your back, and I'll answer questions as I guide you into a deeper state. And even that might sound, well, shit, there's no science. Yeah, there's a lot of science behind it. We just haven't, say, aggravated, say, the results. That's all. So take a breath in, just notice your upper spine. And even if you don't believe me, it's okay. Just run with it. See if it works, right? Your current life isn't working, so try something different. even if you don't understand it. Breath in again. So the simplest things that you can do to not get, say, sucked into the control and mastermind is, and this is what people do, and then I'll tell you what how you should do it. People um, people listen to news, people listen to information, people and what they do is like, well, that news or that information is against my belief system. I'm going to step out of it or not listen to it and think it's bullshit so I can protect my own little space. Okay, which is fine. I mean, that stuff might be bullshit, but you never know. But the key is that a couple things. One, you can always learn from things that are, say, opposite of your beliefs. Okay. Two, if you can't hold on to, say, two opposing beliefs at the same time within your mind, you need to practice, because if you can't hold on to it, then that means your belief isn't structured enough within you to hold on to. So again, two opposing thoughts or two opposing ideas without, say, imbalance within yourself. So even if your belief is true, there's so much imbalance out there that you can't, say, support yourself, or you can't harmonize yourself in your body, in your identity. So what'll happen is that the distortions of even the false, okay, from the masses, although you might think you're true, or from the smaller groups, okay, but the bigger the group, obviously the more momentum they have. That aspect of it, that aspect of the lie will wash into you, although you would believe in the truth, if that makes sense to you. So it's not about, well, I need to know the truth, I need to note the scientific, say, evidence before I move forward and make a decision. It doesn't work like that. It's about the frequencies that you are surrounding or being absorbed in. Okay. And it goes deeper when you're learning something or listening. And most people, again, when they learn from, either like schooling, high school graduate level, or, YouTube or anything else, or listening to the news, you're always learning, listening, watching your environment, interacting with your environment, you're always learning. Okay. But the key is, say that you're learning from a guru or a master, or, you're learning from, I don't know, a CEO, or you're listening to, a leader talk to you, right? Like Trudeau or Biden or, Putin or whoever. What you're not only just getting, say, the words there, but over 90% of the language or the communication is an underlying frequency that most people don't observe. Me, with my abilities, and plenty of you who are awakening, you're observing those abilities, right? You have those abilities to understand or decipher or separate their patterns compared to what they're trying to tell you. And that's really the key. Okay. So whenever you're learning something in your memory banks, when you're absorbing what you're learning from whoever, wherever it is, you're not just absorbing and placing the information or storing information into you. What's happening is that you're absorbing the frequencies that person is resonating at, whether you know it or not, into you as well. If you've ever wondered, it's like, gosh, Moss, I have a bad memory. I don't see people having bad memories. I see people not being in the same reality of when they stored those memories. That's really the key. Your brain is perfect. It records like you wouldn't believe, accurately. But a lot of science would go, hey, your brain is not that accurate. It doesn't record as well. If you brought it back into the same environment that you were learning, or the same person that you were learning from, then your recall is a lot better. So that's the key, is like, how do you separate just the knowledge that you need rather than the personality that's behind it? Okay. Say the leader is, an alcoholic or abuses people or whatever it might be. Those frequencies of alcoholism, say abuse, and taking advantage, is in their message, no matter how benevolent the person is, or no matter how benevolent, say, his actions are. you're absorbing the underlying frequency. You have to, because your cellular structure or your DNA is always sending out information and blending in with the environment to become, say, the highest level possibility of, say, survival. That's why you do that. Okay, so let's take a deep breath in. So that might sound confusing. Again, I'm just giving you the deep science. Let me give you a clear example. Okay, say that you hire a mentor. Okay, the guy's really successful in business. I mean, hugely successful. He's a billionaire. You hire the guy, and then you're with him for a year. The guy is alcoholic and he abuses his wife. This is a real case story, by the way. Alcoholic, abuses his wife, and some other things as well. We don't need to get into. So over time, this person came to me. Over time, the student did become successful. He also started becoming alcoholic and then abusing his spouse and then the other people. Again, that's what you're learning. So whatever you're learning from wherever it is, media and so on, that's why it's a brainwashing technique. You morph into not just what they're telling you, okay, but if the message is congruent, if the underlying message is the surface message is congruent with the underlying message, then it's more impactful, okay? Because you resonate, or that message harmonizes, and then again, it blends into you. So one of the best things that you can do is start understanding or start reading individuals. And you go, well, shit, I don't have those abilities. You actually do. We just need to elevate your consciousness so you're observant of, oh, that person has this filter, alcoholism, and then I'll take their message, for example, and filter out, say, that filter of alcoholism, so I can just hear the clear message. You have filters as well, by the way, okay? And it doesn't have to be alcoholism. It could be anything else, but I'm just giving you an extreme example. So one of the key ways, hopefully that made sense, and comment 10 if that made sense. One of the key ways is to observe the person while you're listening to their message, and then you'll separate what you need to separate, okay? Is the XI definition of love just being in time and space and thereby aligning to it all? So it's not the definition of being in time and space. It's the cause of it. So if you're in time and space, and we can do that. If you're in time and space, the output of that, okay, or the bottom line is that you'd feel love. Okay, so love is literally an aspect of you, is the distance between your timeless self, which is over 99% of you, and then your limited self, your human form, or your physical experience here. And I know that sounds really woo-woo, but try the 18-day hyper meditations out, and as you get closer and closer to yourself, right, what'll happen for you is that you'll feel extreme love, not just for you, for people around you, for reality, for humanity, for nature. And that's how we change the world, not through more wars or anything like that. Let's take a deep breath in. I'll even give you a brief example. We'll just take a few minutes. Breath in again. Just notice your heart, notice your chest. Breath in again. We'll try it both ways, okay? And again, it's all about space-time. It's all about proximity. That's all it is, guys. It's about, again, the fourth dimension. And I know that sounds crazy, but if you're congruent or stable, and you know and understand who you are, okay? Just think of it this way. Notice your neck. Again, if you're congruent, what does that mean? If you're stable, what does that mean? Breath in. If you knew who you were, breath in again. If you knew who you were, you knew the power that you are, would you have issues? Could you recover from anything? Would you be abundant? So whether you're religious or even atheist or anything in between, it doesn't matter. If you were completely confident and knew who you were at a deeper level, would you have any issues in this world? You'd be pretty much all powerful. Breath in again. I'm just helping you separate yourself. There you go. Some of you might feel awkward, unsure, questioning me. If you're new, unsure of your life, think of a life situation, whatever it might be, happy or sad. Do you notice that you might feel, again, unsure about it or insecure about it or fearful about it? Not definitely a love mode, right? Not now, but comment in later. Breath in again. Some of you who are advanced X-hires, you might actually feel grace. There we go. So this is, notice that you feel, say, more stable or more, say, in control, more confident. Do you love yourself more? There we go. Some of you go and put me back. Exactly. Again, guys, it's not psychology or anything. It's about space distortions, literally time and space. There we go. So notice how you feel now. Again, do you feel more confident in your abilities? Are you more, say, sure-footed? Now, it's not going to work for everybody because there's a lot of fear, especially if you're new. Someone's telling you felt grace, precisely, exactly. So if you stay in this space, your life will dramatically turn around. And that's what I do best, to help people stay in that space. So again, comment in. So your life situations, your psychology, your chemicals, all that, they were all the same. What the hell happened? Again, it was how you referenced yourself, how you created yourself in space-time. Okay. So somebody was talking about, how long is this war going to last and all that. This is the cool thing about what's happening in the world, and this is the purity wave, as I used to call it, or again, we're in the purity wave, which those distortions of the past that just don't seem like we should be, running. It's just like we're too awakened. Like, for example, back in the day, and I'll give you, for the blacks, unfortunately, back in the day, it was normal to have slaves. It was normal to treat women the way, we treated them. That was, again, considered normal. But what changed? What changed in the 60s, 70s? It's still around, but again, what changed? Well, we woke up to a consciousness, again, a consciousness, not because of rules or regulations or anything like that. We woke up to a realization that shit, we shouldn't be treating other humans like that, whether they're women, whether they're different culture, ethnicity, color, or anything like that. We should be awakened. But the problem is, as we've come to today, for example, what's happened is that the new consciousness dictates that we should treat everybody at a human level. Okay. Again, at a human level, not based on, their wealth, their creed, color, their lack of wealth or anything like that. But again, at a human level, that's why we're having the issues that we are having in today's society. Okay. That's why what we do is like, no, we should be awakened to be, respecting people at a human level, but we're holding on to our past identities on how we should do it. And we become very, very insecure. Hence, this is, this war. So I say this because when you look at the war back in the day, there would be camaraderie. between people. It's like, yeah, we need to fight for freedom. Yeah, we need to do this. We need to do that, right? Even for if you're for the Ukraine or for the Soviets, whichever one. There's no camaraderie. There's only one camaraderie. It's like, hey, wait, guys, we shouldn't be doing that. That's why a lot of people, even in Russia, they're going, hey, we shouldn't be doing that. It's crazy. It's so, let's just say it's so 1940s, right? Most, again, all people, even those people in power, is like, shit, our methods of, say, attack or our methods of control are not working anymore. That's what's happening. So this war could like linger on for a long, 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 long time without really going anywhere, or it just like fizzles out. So that's what I see. But again, it's like a short-term feel. I work with probabilities, and that's why, again, it could go on for a long, long time or morph into other things. Will other countries try to do that? No, I think it just seems like we've learned from it. Although you'll see pockets of, say, pockets of war, but then it just like dissipates. It doesn't. It doesn't. The fire doesn't catch from what I'm seeing. So, and again, it's because of the consciousness. In the new consciousness, you can't use the old pattern or the old tools of war. So, okay. I did a talk on that, by the way, when Biden was giving his speech. So that should be coming out. Are there any good leaders in the world, or are they all assholes? El Salvador president, Ukraine president, when will we have good leaders? People in El Salvador, they're not really, I think they're pretty cool. Yeah, is there some shadiness? Sure. People go, well, Mexicans have cartels, shit. The US has cartels too, but they just wear suits. So again, all those leaders, literally, whether you're Democrat, Republican, independent, anything like that, and no matter what country you are, they run from the same playbook. We have to move up to a higher level, say, of consciousness. And that's where those leaders that actually do want to help, but are using, say, old paradigms to help. Like I said before, even if their help is benevolent, we're going to get into the same troubles as in the past. We have to raise ourselves to a higher level of consciousness, and then that's where it really helps, or that's where it really works out. So are there any good leaders today? Very few. No, not really. Not somebody that can just like come up, and it might not be president or dictator or king or anything like that. It might be just somebody else that just has such a strong presence that's like, wow, that's like real leadership. You need something like that. One of the best leaders I like is Cyrus the Great. He's really cool. Let's see. This one say, I don't remember anything from teachers besides those aligned with pure source. Absolutely. And this is my one of my daughters is this way. She won't learn from anybody that she can't like be comfortable with her trust, because she does it right. She's like, I know what I'm absorbing. I know what you're sending out, and I don't want to learn all this other stuff behind it, because what you're learning is only 1% of what you need to learn to stay here in society. The other 99% is all, say, is garbage that you want to filter out. So like my youngest daughter, she does great, with teachers she trusts. She'll just like shut down. So if you have a kid like that, it's not your kid that has a problem. It's just that the teacher or whoever they're learning from sucks. They're dark. I wouldn't learn from them either, because they know what they're absorbing, right? Young kids, if you've ever noticed, when they're learning things, they don't like the person at a frequency level, they won't learn from them. This is the reason why, by the way. So trust your inner self. When do you see a new new breed of leaders. I actually see more and more people coming up, new ways, new ideas, new concepts, new businesses. They're even business leaders. They're starting to separate. It's like, hey, why can't we have real green products? Why can't we why can't we be benevolent? I actually teach great leaders, CEOs, on how to run their companies efficiently, more profitable, and again, better for the employees and themselves and their bottom line. So those more and more people are searching for that. Which means that there are people already out there trying to do the right thing. So hopefully we can help with that. If you've noticed this one, many of the best or worst countries run the game as they know it the same way. Yes, with their own twist. And did you notice that the countries that were for freedom, like say Canada, right? Not to mention names, right? They were for Canada, really good people, right? That's what you said, right? Freedom and all this, and they got, the healthcare and all that stuff. Look what happened. They weren't that free. Look at Neil Young, look at Whoopi Goldberg, and all those other people that fight for freedom, right? Or the Mavericks in business that fight for freedom. They're against the system. And then what happens? They become the system, right? They're the ones who want to shut you down, who, if you don't believe in their concepts or ideas, they won't let you even listen to stuff, right? They'll shut down Spotify, Joe Rogan, or anybody else that's against their belief system, which might or might not be accurate. Again, are those the kind of leaders that you're looking for? Of course not. Hope not. Anyway, unless you're just too dumb, and you just want to be told what to do. So, if you want to know how to think, stay here on this channel and sign up for the newsletter, and you'll know and understand how to think, not just what to think. So this one, Moss, can you talk about, and then we'll jump into analyzing people. It says, Moss, can you talk about purity wave at a personal, country, and global level and universal level for this month, 3 months, 6 months? Yeah, just briefly. By the way, we are going to do a meditation for truth coming up. It'll be live, so take a look at that this coming Monday or Tuesday. Okay, so jump on the website, subscribe, email if you want to get a notification on when that's coming up. So that should be live on mossajady.com coming up this Monday or Tuesday. So overall, the purity wave, again, it demands that you let go of your old bullshit, all garbage, illnesses, and so on like that. This world is way too heavy. What happens is that nature, learns from the past, moves forward. Okay, humans, as they don't, and that's why humans don't evolve. What humans do is like, they don't learn from the past, and then they gravitate or hold on to the baggage, kind of like a red badge of courage, and then move it forward into the future, hence repeating the same pattern. Nature doesn't do that. So we've pulled apart so far from where we should be, where our alignment, our pure abundance should be, that again, anything in nature has to harmonize. So we pulled so far that this is what you're experiencing. The purity wave dictates that, hey, you pull so far, it's just like a rubber band. You pull so far that, once you snap or you let go of that rubber band, do you notice how fast it smashes back into where it should be, its natural, say, balanced state? This is what's going to happen. And it's not going to take another 10, 20 decades for this thing to turn around. You'll see a lot of awarenesses within that. You'll see a lot of extremes, right? Again, the extremes where we were, and then the extremes where you will be. So a lot of great stuff will happen. At the same time, a lot of devastating things will happen. And it accelerates through the next month, through the next 6 months. You'll see more and more of that separation. And then people caught in the middle. And then people will literally have to decide. And it's not decisions on, hey, I want to eat meat, I don't want to eat meat, and all that stuff, right? You decide on, hey, I want to be free. I want to understand we're all uniform, and we're coming to say share our differences. So, and then we all embrace each other's differences, embracing ourselves as well. So it's a beautiful state to be. It's a beautiful, say, opportunity or time in history, because never before have we been, say, this awakened to take advantage. And the cool thing is, in the past, we would have exterminated ourselves like we have because we didn't let go of the past. But there are so many people awakened nowadays that no matter who the country is, no matter who, the small group of families or whoever, say, runs, all these presidents that are there, they don't have any power either. They've lost all that control, again, because it's all of us awakening to a higher level of consciousness. It's like, hey, we're not going to create that anymore. We're not even using those tools anymore. So again, those control mechanisms don't work. And you'll see that towards the end of this year, actually. You'll see a lot of great things happening for it. Whether whoever starts to control it or not, they just can't. Whether it's at a personal level, where you are demonizing to your kids or your spouse and so on like that, you won't be able to. There'd be a lot of issues if you did, for you, not for the, say, victim, so to speak. Although the victim would have to stand up as well. So again, at a personal level, and then extrapolate that into a universal or country level, you'll see that happening. Okay, so Yami, let's go ahead and bring these people on that I've never talked to, I don't think. And then the first one is Hermana.
Yes.
We're going to bring her on. Hi, how are you?
Hi, Mas. Thank you for this beautiful opportunity.
Oh, you're so welcome. So Hermana, is it Hermana? Am I saying it right?
Hermine.
Hermini. Okay. Yeah, you say it a lot better, hon. So thank you for that. So I've never worked on you before, right?
No.
Okay. I'm sure you've done something with me.
Yes.
It seems like you've done something with me. And Hermina, I just have to read this. It's Sajady with Exponential Intelligence. I'm not a medical doctor. I don't diagnose or heal. So, again, if I tell you something physical like that, again, consult your own expertise. And it's okay for you to share your story with the group, because we're on we're on a public forum. So that's okay, right?
Yes, it's okay.
Oh, all righty. So if you don't mind, I'll just analyze you. And so, yeah, take a deep breath in, hon, and I'll work on you and Hermina as well. If you have the similar issues, because I'm resonating or generating frequencies, that'll help you as well. You'll probably feel that. So if there's anything special you want to ask about as well, hon, you're probably feeling those frequencies in your chest already, if that makes sense to you.
Yes.
Yeah. So there's a lot of truth coming out, that it's not just that, you're nervous or anything like that, but you've always lived behind other people's shadows. Your whole life has been that way. That makes sense. And again, I've never seen you, I've never talked to you or anything like that, but it's just, these are the frequencies. So remember the teaching things that I was telling you, what you're learning from people, the newscaster, president, or whoever. This is the stuff that you all are absorbing when you're interacting with people. Okay. So for you, again, Hermina, is that you're always in the shadows of other people. Right?
Yeah, that's true. Yes.
Does that make sense? 1, 2, 3. Have you had 2 husbands or 3 husbands or 3 lovers or um um, um uh, how many husbands or lovers have you had, or relationships
3.
have you had?
Yes, it's
3?
true. 3 lovers I had this.
Yeah. It just seems like that but and again, guys, I'm reading other people's questions. I'm not a psychic, by the way. You all have these abilities. Okay. I'm just seeing it from a frequency level that I can say tune into. You are just absorbing it, below the radar. So for you, hon, you fell in love. I don't know if it's the first or second one, but you were really in love with him. You're truly in love with him, and that person Oh, it's interesting. So you're still in love with that person, although you might have dated other people. Even say after the third, you really held on to that person. You hold on to things as well. Does that make sense to you? Say
Yes.
that you had a great time or you loved somebody a lot. You would hold on to that person, although they're not there anymore. Get
Yes,
it?
it's true. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's okay, but say you love somebody and you still have your heart set on that one person, but they're gone, whether it's an illness or a death or anything else. You just broke up and now you're with somebody else. Well, your heart will feel like it's taken for that new person. And then you won't experience that new relationship vibrantly because again, you're stuck back in time, not necessarily the person. Does that make sense to you so far? I'll put it another way, daily example. Say that you're doing something today. Okay. Your mind would be stuck in the past about thinking, oh, I had more fun back in the day while
Oh,
you're doing.
yes.
Okay. So I'm just giving you different layers. Do you guys see the different
Mhm.
layer? It's the same pattern though, that covers her whole aspect. So again, no matter what it is, the deeper lying pattern, and I'm helping you release like, relationship type patterns in you, which is really huge. Also people who have died in the past, you've held on to as well. Like you should hold on to them,
Mhm.
if that makes sense. So sometimes you might even talk about them or talk to them and so on like that. Even like, I don't know, somebody died around 8, 9, 10. Yeah, your mother had a devastating, say, time with that death, which affected you. Does that make sense to you? That's the original core.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, and that was correct, right? Just want to understand. Yeah. So what does all this have to do with how you see your life, how you are healthy, how you are abundant, or create money or, whatever else, anything else. So the reason why is, again, it's a time distortion. So back in the day, take a deep breath in, Armenia, and notice your spine, you as well. If you run this pattern, something devastating, and I'll make it a general pattern, but I'll work on you. Something devastating happened to you when you were young, say for you, between 7 and 10. And again, notice your upper spine, your upper spine, your mid back, Hermini. So what happened is, like, again, a distraught, say, mother, because of that. It for women, especially, because that'd be your mother. A lot of women have gone through a lot of stress or through a lot of loss, whether wars or anything else, right? That makes sense to you. So it's a very devastating consequence. It pushes you, like for a little girl, you see your mom disoriented, you would get disoriented out of space and time. And then from that moment, you would hold on or you would cling on to things to make you feel safe. And then
Mhm.
people like you would have a special blanket or something special for you when you were younger. You needed that to feel safe. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Um, yeah, even your scarf that you're wearing today is something, it's an icon for you to feel safe. Otherwise, you would not feel safe without that scarf. You need
Yes.
something to hold on to. So,
Mhm.
so you're actually
Yes.
practicing spatial referencing on.
Mhm. I'm always looking for security in one or another way.
Yep. Yep. So this is what happened. And I'm just working on you, by the way. I'm not just talking. So notice your hips. Huh? And then we'll get into, say, some of the easy physical stuff we can change for you as well. So time is supposed to be here. Your mother gets devastated, and so on. And then basically you're always running in present moment time. And all of a sudden you just like get jerked back. So if you've ever had devastating news, do you notice how like time just like stops for you, right? Many of you have had that. Even you, it's like, oh my goodness. So what does that mean? How do you feel what you feel? Literally, you get, time keeps going, you get snapped out of time. So you're here now. And then time for you, ever since then, basically time is always going forward. And then you feel like you're losing yourself, losing your life, losing your love. It doesn't feel beneficial anymore. And then you have to do something to jump back on time. over and over again. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Yeah. So let's stop that. It's a pretty easy fix, by the way. And you're ready to change, are you not? Or do you want to stay the same? Are you ready to let
No,
go of all that?
I'm
Okay.
ready.
So
Ready to change.
do you have any specific questions, hon? If you have any specific questions, you can ask me.
Not now.
Okay. I think you just want to live life because that's what your goal is. So you would turn it into, again, it's like, I just want to live life. I just want to feel how it feels to be me, right? Without, say, this thing of wishing to be back like I was. Does that make sense to you? That's your whole life.
Yes.
Okay. You have, say, fantastic opportunities for you or people who really love you, but you don't feel their love. You feel isolated from them. Or the more
Yes.
love you feel, the more disconnected you feel because the more love they give you, you'll feel it's like, why can't I feel it? And then this is where you feel guilty. It's like, God, they were so nice to me. I know they really love me, but I just don't feel anything on the inside. So things have, say, been dying off in you. Or it's like, I have everything, but why don't I just feel vibrant? It's because you're out of space. Breath in again. 1, 2, 3. I don't know. Do you talk to or you connected to 3 people who have crossed over? Um, is one of them your husband or your, ex or who a
No,
lover?
my brother and sister.
Oh, okay. It could be your brother that I'm getting. Are they
Mhm.
crossed over?
He has committed suicide.
Oh, okay. So I thought that was, yeah, okay. I thought that was your, got it. I was just going to get to that. Okay, so that's, yeah, I was wrong on that. I thought that was, oh, okay. So the reason why I got it mixed up is that you had a partner that was very similar to your brother, from what I'm seeing. You always had to make him happy, so to speak. You were always there to support him, that kind of deal. You were always, so the two, and then that one relationship, yeah, that one relationship again turned into a brother sister. So let's help your brother cross over as well, and then your sister, she's crossed over as well.
Yes.
Okay, let's help them. Let's help her. How did she die? Kind of a,
She had an accident with a bicycle. It was very sudden, her death.
what I see is sudden death. Yeah.
Mhm.
I just see, um, and not necessarily an accident, but if patterns like that run suicide or random accidents like that, it's because you need to disconnect. That's all. For you, hon, if you were like you separated like that, if you disconnected a little bit more, something would have to happen to you for you to either commit suicide or have an accident. That's all. Because you're out of, again, disconnected from space and time. Your timeless self is here, you're supposed to be integrated, but again, people like you run this way, and then you're always out of time. Breath in again. Let's just put you back in. There we go. So we'll help them cross over.
Yes, please.
And I know it sounds kind of crazy, but people who I've worked with, you'll feel a lightness coming through. um, did your brother used to hide a lot?
What? Didn't
Yeah,
understand.
your brother used to hide a lot, like in dark places, or he likes dark places.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm connected to the right one. Let's just say when he committed suicide, he's still in a dark place, just like in a bottom corner of a closet, so to speak, and he's still there waiting. It's like, how do I get out of here? So he didn't quite cross over. So sometimes you might actually feel his essence or presence. There we go. So let's help him cross over. 1, 2, 3. So he's gone. Your sister's gone. There we go. How are you feeling? And we could do more and more, obviously, but this is a really good start for you. How are you feeling?
It makes me sad to hear that he's still on the dark place.
Yeah. So over the next course of the week or so, honey, you'll probably start to heal from that death, bury that death so you can move on. So what you're going to go through is, again, letting go or shedding old memories, patterns, and so on like that. Because that's the way you run. You have to get rid of the past before you jump into the future, so to speak, or take care of the past, or make sure the past is okay before you go forward, because that's the way you've always done. So now you're going to take care of the past, seal it, and then this is where you get a second chance on life, literally. And this is where, if you continue the work, we can help you get a second chance on life where you start to heal yourself from some of the issues that you have. I don't know if you have circulation issues from what I'm seeing, but people in your family have circulation issues.
Yes.
Yeah. It's almost like it gets hard to breathe as you age and your back starts to curve. You don't have to have that. I'm not a doctor, but again, you don't have to age like that. So
my
that's
father
something.
died in this circulation issues.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah, so that's that third death I helped do, because I was counting 1, 2, 3. There's 3 deaths in you. Yeah. So your sister, your brother, your father. So they're all where they should be at a higher level. Okay. You'll feel their blessings, by the way. You'll feel that expansion, and you can actually say, let go of that death. Okay. And that's where you can feel vibrant in time. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
All right. So we'll go to the next person.
Thank you, Mas.
Thank you, hon. I think I mixed up the orders. Sorry about that, Yami. We'll go to Marzena. Mark Zena. Hello.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, hon. How are we doing?
I'm all right.
Yeah. Anything special, or what have you done with XI or me, or are you pretty? Oh, you muted yourself or something?
Oh, yeah, accidentally.
Yeah, there we go. You're pretty new to me?
Yes.
Okay. Take a breath in, and if there's anything specific you want to work on, I'll just analyze you first, and then it's okay for me to analyze you, right, on a public forum and share. Yes. Okay, awesome. You know how you're always split, or you almost are always in another reality. So people might always tell you, it's why isn't she paying attention to me? Or why aren't you paying attention to that person? Or why can't you get focused, so to speak? You would consider yourself focus problems. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Yeah. Take a breath in. It's a simple fix, actually. When you were 10, 12 years old, it's almost like, did you see things, by the way?
I saw things. Yes, I felt things. I get good vibes. I get bad vibes.
Yeah. So they're not, and then your parents might go, oh, that's not real, or she just has problems focusing, or it's in her mind. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
And that messes you up even more. And by the way, so if you have kids, guys, or if you are kids listening to this, again, pay attention to your intuition. Those things are real. It's just that what's happening to you is back around 10, 11, 12, what happened is that those things became, for some reason, it became stronger and stronger. Let's just say your abilities of sensing other, say, realities out there became more and more real, or more and more stronger. You just didn't know how to handle it. It's like a power tool, and it literally disoriented you for some reason.
I had a bad experience when I was 9 years old.
Okay, got it. And it was somebody outside the family? Yeah.
No, I was 9 years old, and I ate a soup, and there was a piece of bone in it, and I swallowed it, and When they got me to the hospital 3 months later, which was my father, I died on the table and they retrieved me.
Got it. So that, yeah. So, okay. So that experience, again, I guess that allowed you to expand into a higher version or the possibilities, but you live out of that death space, which is, I live out of that death space, but I use it because I know how to use the tool. It it disjointed you. So what's happened is that, say you have a consciousness of this physical reality and you have filters to filter other things out. You're still running from, say, the bigger consciousness of how this reality works. So you'd make a great XI student, by the way, because you've already opened that arena. You just didn't know how to use the tools.
Yeah, I can't, sometimes I can't control it.
Yes.
So when I'm around a lot of people, there's times I have to be by myself.
Absolutely. And that's why I was going to say around 10, 11, 12, did you get approached by a boy or somebody? It could be a presence that you were talking to or a real person.
It wasn't probably not a real person. I have seen ghosts and spirits. So it was later on that I've spoken to somebody, which was my father.
Okay. So I see you talking to a young boy around 10, 11, 12, 13 years old, or connecting. They kind of helped you try to stabilize, but they kind of meshed into you as well. By the way, if that makes sense to you. You might, I'm a little off for you because you're older. Spiritually, you're younger, but then you're wiser because of that accident. So say like, I see you as like 10, 11, 12, which is close. At 9, you had that accident. I would see you like two years older. So, add, so
it's
so
always
around
like that.
Yeah. So around 14, 15, let's just say there would have been a boy that would kind of stabilized you, so to speak, but he actually needed help from you. So that's why it's important. So he's integrated in you. The reason why that's important to you, relationship wise, you connect with, say, men that need help and support being here. So you've latched onto that pattern, or he's latched onto you. Does that make sense? How that works?
It does. Yes.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. At least, wow. You kind of go through relationships pretty fast. Like I see like 7 relationships at least. There might be others, but yeah. Does that make sense to you?
It makes sense, but I've never had a lot of relationships.
Okay.
Maybe family relationships.
Yeah, and they don't have to be intimate, but it's like men that needed your support. I see 7 of them. And they become not just like personal, intimate, but you could have, say, a brother that held on to you really close, or a close friend. You make friends again, and they attach onto you really close. So that's the key. And sometimes it confuses me. So the reason why is like, they're worse off than you trying to stabilize, and they'll try to stabilize on you. And that's why you get disoriented. And that's why they're short term, by the way. And that's why in today's world, or, like real life logistics, what you go through life is like, you can't handle crowds. You'd rather, say, isolate. If you did stick with somebody, you want to separate and decompress before you interact again. Or sometimes, a lot of times, you're happier alone, or you want to be alone, not because you want to be alone, but it's just easier and more comforting for you. It's less painful, because over time, if you sit with somebody, especially like an hour or more or so, you'll start to, say, remember their stories as your stories as well.
Yes. My memory, I can remember things that happened when I was 5 years old.
Yep. Plus, you start to remember what happened to the person sitting next to you as well. Yes. You'll pick up their memories. And then, do you have weird dreams as well?
Yes, sometimes I do. Things happen from my dreams.
Yep.
Like when my sister got pregnant, I knew that she was going to have twins.
Yeah. So the way you do it is literally, your sister will latch onto you to support. Okay. And this is how your abilities work. And this is why it's detrimental for you, and it disorients you. And that's why you can't stabilize, or people go, well, you're not stable mentally. But in reality, you're more stable than most. What happens is, you're a stable person. Your sister needs help around her pregnancy that I'm seeing. She wasn't quite sure about being pregnant and even being a wife. And then she's pregnant. So anyway, that's her story. So she'll latch onto you for stability. The way she latches onto you, it's like you allow her to plug in. Okay. And as you plug in, you'll start feeling her experiences and seeing her experiences from her point of view. And then whatever else is going on with her body.
It makes sense. It makes sense. All of it.
Yeah. So what I was doing through this whole session was filtering out other people or disconnecting you, because even people of the past are still lodged into your connected. That internet connection is still, so you've got a lot of connections. So hundreds and hundreds of connections I was helping you disconnect from. Take a breath in again for you and then other people who run these patterns. This is an extreme version of being empathic, basically. Breath in again. Did you almost have an accident or die or somebody around you around when you were 20? I could be off by a couple of years, but
no, my sister was she had an accident. My dad had an accident, but no one died.
Okay, yeah, a severe. So when
dad,
you were around 18 or 20,
I don't remember.
Not you, but somebody like your sister or your dad had an accident.
Maybe my dad.
Yeah. The reason why I ask, it just like pulls you again. So something happened in that time that it pulled you, disconnected you from where you should be in space-time as well, is my point. So let's put you back in there as well. Take a breath in. How are you feeling? And you can ask me questions, by the way.
All right. Me and my mom had a very bad relationship. Even growing up, she was a very hard person to be around with. She was my bully. So I just wanted to know, is she still connected with me? Because she has made me suffer throughout my childhood.
Yeah. Yep. So no, she's at a deeper level, and that's what I was saying. At a deeper level, even people of the past are still connected with you. So she's not connected anymore, because that's one of the bigger pieces that I disconnected from you. But let me just say this, and again, I don't know you, but just analyzing or reading your mom, take a breath in again, for you and others as well. She actually loved you a lot, although you might not think that way. Okay. And that's why when you were younger, you get really confused. It's like, God, at a deep level, it's like, shit, she loves me, but why does she treat me like this? And as you got older, you'd find more and more proof of, shit, she doesn't love me. Or so it's like, wait a second, she does love me. So it's like, what is it? Does that make sense? And that's what you're trying to say, come to terms with. It's like, well, shit, did she really love me or didn't she really love me? And if she did, why did she treat me that way? So breath in again. So remember what I said, that you are a strong individual. Even when you were younger, it's like she might have actually almost lost you during pregnancy as well, by the way, from what I'm seeing. But you're a strong individual. She, very insecure, she would latch onto you for stability and strength, which is a heavy burden for a young child. And then what'll happen is that she can't hold on to you. Nobody can hold on to another person. Right? Notice the back of your neck, hon. And then what'll happen is that she'll get pulled away. Again, she'll feel like dying or something's going to happen to her because she runs that fear. So she will bully you, or say, she'll bully you or pick on you or not make you feel good about yourself. Basically, what she does is like, she's dying, she's latching on to you, and then it's not working. So she'll have to create drama around you. So she'll control you more and more to feel stable. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Okay.
And it's correct.
Yeah. So take a deep breath in. Yeah. So it's not about love. And again, I'm not, backing up your mom, but this is the pattern. And again, although because love, all that stuff, she did all this shit to me and all that. It's just psychology, and psychology doesn't benefit you. So your mom feels like she's always drowning. So imagine a drowning person. No matter how you love them or not, okay, how much you love them, they're drowning. They'll do anything to survive. You reach out as a hand to help them because that's what you do as a kid, and they're flailing, right? And I might accidentally punch you in the face or literally grab onto you to save their life, and then you start drowning as well. And you're a strong person, and you're always like, okay, I'm up on top, but then you'll attract people that just like will drown you, and then you reach out more. Get it? So
Yes.
You've got a lot of people that are drowning around you that you're, say, holding on to. So I disconnected a lot of them for you. I'd suggest a longer session to maintain, say, the cleanliness. But as proof, and for you and then others that I help disconnect, as proof, people from the past, even 10, 20 years ago, they'll call you up and go, hey, I want to reconnect. I was just thinking about you. Don't go there. It's because they want to reconnect. I'm not saying not have lunch or whatever, but just observe what was it in you that allowed them to connect the way they did. So it's a great learning experience. And then again, that will, say, disconnect you from them. And then in the future, you can expand into those possibilities without destroying yourself, your gifts, basically, without destroying yourself. You get glimpses of future vision, by the way. You see what's going to happen to that person, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, those things are easy to fix once, but you need to stabilize yourself first. So, okay. Was that helpful, by the way?
Yes, because when I was a child, I thought I was maybe crazy a little bit. I always felt a little different than most kids, even growing up. That's why I don't have many friends.
Yep. Yeah. And you wouldn't want many friends. So because again, they'd totally destroy you. Yeah. Just give me 1 second. And even now, do you notice how you feel? And again, guys, comment in and see how she feels to you. But you seem like more present, like you're here, especially your head area. So, and so again, physically, I'll give you some of the things. So in your family, what'll happen is that you'll start in your family, because of the same or similar patterns of disconnect. This is where mental instability happens. This is where mental instability. This is where insecurities, as people in your family age, they become very, very insecure about pretty much everything. They have to go through and check and triple check and double check all those things that they go through. Does that make sense? They become very insecure because they lose their identity. Sometimes they might have issues. They might trip over something as well. Again, that's all space distortions as well. Yeah. I see people like not stepping perfectly, as they age, because their mind and body, they're in two different realities. Does that make sense to you? People, motor skill issues, basically. So those are the physical attributes on, again, being disoriented or distorted in space. You don't have to age like that. You don't have to have those kind of, say, brain patterns or brain fog and all that stuff. You seem really, really clear, by the way. You seem like your headspace is present. So almost immediately, if you go meet with people, it's like, whoa, you're actually here. You're actually listening to me. So just think how much transformation that'll help, when you're interacting with people and trying to connect. So really cool stuff.
I have a question. I've been on a healing journey, and I just wanted, I know you're not a doctor, you can't heal anybody, but can you just tell me a little bit about what I'm doing the right thing? Because I have a gut issue, I have a stomach issue.
Yeah,
I've been doing much better than I was 3 years ago.
Yeah. If you notice, what's really healed you or what's really helped you is that you're more aware of your reality here for the past. You said you've been doing really well for the past 1.5 years. I would say a year and a half. From what I'm seeing. And again, are the foods better and all that stuff? Of course, yeah, they're better. But if you really pay attention to what's really healed you, is that you're more present and you're more aware of your body. Before, you were just in your head. Over the past year and a half, you're more used to your body. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So, and as you're more used to your body can only be created in this one reality. And that's what's really healing you, because your issues come from nerve disorders. By the way, your organs are fine. And that's why if you go to the doctor, they go, well, your organs are testing fine. We can't figure it out, or whatever it might be. And then they might think that you're going crazy, or you're like a hypochondriac because you have so many different, say, issues. You also have yeast type problems. Again, I'm not diagnosing you. I'll just telling you, yeast type problems throughout your nervous system. And that's what irritates your nervous system. It's almost like you crawl out of your body sometimes, or you want to crawl out of your body. That makes sense to you?
Yes.
Because that's the sheathing around your nerves are getting thinner. So they're like short circuiting, especially throughout your back or your right side. So I see that. The organs in your stomach, they're not getting the nutrition that it's needed. Again, the nerve, frequency, the nerve. So if you checked, I don't know if they can do this, but I think they can. It's that electrical conductivity between, say, your limbs and all that. It'd be a lot slower for you because of what I said. And the reason why your whole nerve is on literally kind of like on fire sometimes is because it sounds crazy, but again, the bottom line is that you'll feel better and you'll heal a lot faster, by the way, not just mentally, but physically. Your nerves are like overlapping. The blueprint is overlapping. It's supposed to be this way. But since you had those experiences, again, near death, so basically your template of where your higher self sees itself is like over here. You're over here. That's why you always are split. That's why, and if the nerves think it should be here, but you're here. That makes sense to you. Nice. And then that's where, this is where you get, say, irritation of the nerves, because it's trying to, say, create itself in two different versions of itself. Sometimes you jump back and forth. I know that sounds crazy, but the bottom line
I get it. I got
you would understand it, but other people listening, it's like, what the hell is this guy talking about? But you literally feel like you're in two places at one time sometimes.
Yes, I do.
Yeah. So that's why. So your nerves are going, well, is she here or is she here? And that it creates irritation. And then it creates this sludge that I see, around your nerves. So as I was putting you back together, and if you did the 18-day hyper meditations, by the way, which is starting this coming March 7th, within that time frame, you not only will heal yourself, like literally most of your symptoms will be gone because they're more nerve type issues than actual, say, damage to the organs. I can't guarantee it, but
I'll do anything. I've been doing everything I have to do.
Yeah, give it a try for 18 days, see what happens. But not only will you recover physically, but you'll literally harness your abilities, fantastic abilities that you have, and it won't destroy you in the future. You can actually benefit you. Okay.
Thank you.
You're so welcome, hon. All right. So again, guys, did you notice that it's not psychology? I'm not going to tell you what foods and all that stuff to take, although there are beneficials, in eating the right foods. I mean, I do that. I'm 60 years old, obviously taking care of myself at a physical level, but then are you taking care of yourself at a frequency level? That's really the key. There's billions of dollars being researched on, it's like, shit, frequencies are the way to go, right? That's because frequencies generate or create everything that you experience here, including illnesses. So instead of healing your illnesses, turn that switch off, and then your illnesses literally go away if you can turn it off at a frequency level. So a lot of good things coming up, guys. Freedom, unity, and truth. Like I said, the war going on, what's happening in Ottawa, and then more and more trucker happening in New Zealand. Now US is picking up. More and more people are awakening, going, hey, we want our freedom. We don't want to lose our freedom to feel secure, because that's what governments do, right? It's like, hey, if you want to feel secure, then you have to lose your freedom. No, you don't have to do that. You guys are all waking up. We are all waking up as a world to go, hey, we don't need to do that. We know we should be free, sovereign individuals at a deeper level. Then we unify, and that's what this meditation is about. Unity, coming all together and going, hey, we're all people that deserve to be our best possible self, because that's what we were created for. And then once we get unified, we can access, say, truth, and not just access truth and have it logically lodged here, go, oh, that's the truth. No, we fucking start to live from that truth, because again, we start to realize that we deserve freedom. We unify for that freedom, which gains enough momentum to, say, catapult us into, say, a higher level of consciousness. Okay, so that's what it's about on the freedom, unity, truth global meditation coming up. It's this Saturday. It's a free meditation, so tell everybody about it, even those people that you don't like. It's coming up March 5th. Details coming soon, so just within the next couple of days, we'll add that up. Personal optimization, that's coming up. Relationships, it's on March 6th. At 9:30 p.m. Central Time. So if you want to boost your relationship, especially if you did the total human reset, and especially if you're doing the 18-day hyper meditation starting this month, you want to take advantage of that and just start fresh. 18-day hyper meditations, 7th through the 28th coming up. Frequency Spa, where we actually help you look younger and beautiful, basically ageless. Why age? Why try to fight reverse aging, or why try to fight aging and look younger when you could be ageless? That's what the Frequency Spa is about. And yes, you can look ageless. That's coming up Sunday, March 13th at 9:30 p.m. Central. And then personal deprogramming. That's also coming up. Survival. A lot of people run from survival mode. They run from it so deep that I work with people who are making millions of dollars and they're still in survival mode. Crazy, isn't it? So why is that? Again, let's get rid of that so we don't have to be in survival mode. So a lot of good things, guys. If you like the show, tell your friends about it. Like us so we can bring you more and more free stuff for you. All right. Take care, guys. Peace.